Hello everyone, greetings from England. May I first thank you very much for the generous invitation to take part in this most enterprising international conference, and for the distinction of being guest of honour. The living cell has preoccupied me throughout my adult years. It is the living cell that dictates who we are, how we behave, how intelligent we are, how we live, and how and when we shall die. Yet our fashionable rush, under some reductionist imperative, has diverted attention from living cells on through the high magnification, high resolution electron microscope. We've been so keen to look at molecules, to look at the tiny particles within cells. It's as though we're analysing the ink on a page of paper and looking more closely at it than ever before, without realising that the ink is actually part of a Shakespeare sonnet, and nobody ever realises how beautiful is the poem. The electron microscope, for all its majestic achievements, cannot show us something crucial. It cannot show us life. Only the light microscope has the power to reveal to us the living cell and the wonderful intricacies that lie within it, which we have yet to behold. And at the same time, there is a fashionable move, an almost tyrannical stranglehold on our attention for the physical sciences, for theoretical physics and mathematics. Both admirable disciplines with so much to offer yet in the future, but they say so little about love and hate. They say so little about health and disease. They say so little about the incredible intricacy that we can observe within the living cell. And so, yes, I'm criticising the malign mechanicals. Do you know that people have now come to a state where they believe that humans are almost going to be overtaken by mechanisms in the future? Yet has it never occurred to anybody that the whole point of a living thing, like a human, is that we create ourselves? If there are wondrous computers with which we can combine our efforts, well, they will be made and designed by us. They are our creations. They do not make themselves. A lot is said about the fact that computers and humans may fuse and do all sorts of things human beings can't do now. Well, that's true if you climb a ladder. That is using technology to expand what humans can do. There is nothing fancy, nothing new, nothing novel, nothing breathtaking, nothing revelationary about it. Humans exist as colonies of independent, almost free-thinking little cells, which none of you has probably ever seen, and which certainly school children today never get to glance. If I could pass a law, it would be that no person should get to the age of 10 without having seen living organisms through a microscope. Think back to when Antony van Leeuwenhoek in 1674, the pioneer of high-power microscopy, first saw microbes in pond water. He was bowled over by the majesty, by the wonder of that sight. Every time I look at living cells, I share his sense of wonder. And today I'd like to share a little of that with you, if I may. So join me later, please, when I give my formal presentation. And can I meanwhile say that I hope you will all stay safe and stay healthy, stay well, stay happy, and above all, stay productive. My aim in giving my presentation would be to trigger just a minor revolution in thought, a minor advance in the way we look at life. Isn't it curious that in the medieval era, so many of the great philosophers, of whom the Indian philosophers were amongst the most peerless, were fascinated by the relationship between the substance of the body and the evanescence of the mind? Modern science isn't interested in that. Modern science wants to see molecules. Modern science wants to see data. Modern science revels in figures. The spirituality of life has been lost in this recent unconscious revolution in thought. And I'd like to set the balance back. Let us look at cells and try to divine what the cell does to make us whom we are. Most people think of humans as being a bag of organs with two of everything down the side and one of everything down the middle. That doesn't work for me. I see us as fruiting bodies, as colonies of independent, free-thinking cells that come together to create what we call human beings and to generate what we call living organisms. Yes, the study of the living cell is a wonderful field of endeavour. I hope I can infect you with some of the enthusiasm when I give my presentation. So until then, may I thank you again for the invitation, and I hope the conference goes well and instructs us all, as I'm sure it will.